In Module 7, we're taking a look at making and using bar graphs to help us solve our problems. So the problem we're going to take a look at first is a school baseball team, and they're using a bar graph to keep track of the number of runs scored on their team. So a few key pieces of information in our bar graph. We have our label, our title up at the top, number of runs. Then the y-axis is labeled going vertically, the number of runs. And then horizontally, we have our x-axis labeled with the players' names. So we have Mark, we have Tracy, Doug, Patty, and Sarah. And one key thing that I wanted to point out to you, our scale over on our vertical y-axis, it's starting with 0 and it's climbing the whole way up to 12. It's counting by twos, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. So we're going to go ahead and get started by answering our questions. The first one is asking us, how many runs did Sarah have? We're going to go across the x-axis and find Sarah, and if we cruise on up, she has scored 7 runs. Her bar ends in the middle of the 6 and the 8, so she has scored 7 runs. Looking out at the next problem, number 2, how many runs did the player with the most runs have? So we want to find the tallest bar. And if we look across our players, Tracy scored the most runs. How many did Tracy score? 12 runs. So 12 runs. In the next problem, how many more runs did Doug have than Sarah? So we need to find both players. Doug, he had 11. And many more is a clue for us. Many more means minus. So we found Doug, he had 11, and then we're looking for Sarah. We already know that Sarah had 7. So we said many more means minus. Our bigger number comes first, 11 minus 7 equals 4. How many more runs did Doug have than Sarah? 4 more runs. In our next problem, how many fewer runs did Mark have than Tracy? So taking a look at our players, we have Mark with 8 and we have Tracy with 12. Remember, our bigger number is going to come first. Fewer is giving us our keyword in the problem for minus. 12 minus 8 equals 4. 4 fewer runs. And then let's take a look at number 5. How many runs did Mark and Patty have? Mark has 8 and Patty has 4. When we are asking how many both of them have together, we are adding. So again, Mark had 8 and Patty has 4. 8 plus 4 equals 12. 12 runs. And then for number 6, who has more runs? Mark and Doug or Tracy and Patty? Mark has 8 and Doug has 11. So the two of them together have 19. And then we're going to take a look at Tracy and Patty. Tracy had 12 and Patty had 4. When we add those two together, we get 16. So which combination had more? Mark and Doug. We're going to finish up with our number of runs graph, and we're actually going to make our own bar graph now. We're going to take a look at a table, and in this table, they are collecting coins from Asian countries. So it says, Carla collects coins from Asian countries. The table below shows how many coins she has collected from 4 different countries. Use the table to complete the graph. So we're going to take this information in the table and put it into a bar graph. And our bar graph is already started for us. Here's our title, Carla's Asian coin collection, our scale. Our y-axis is going to be labeled on the side, number of coins starting at 0. And then our countries are going to go across the bottom, China, Japan, Vietnam, and India. So I have the first one done for us. China has 13 coins. So I have it drawn up to 13 coins. Then Japan has 15. So I'm going to take a look up here at 15, draw my line, and make my bar. And then I'm just going to color it in. And bar graphs are nice because they visually represent the information, and you can quickly see the data that you are looking at. So far China has 13, Japan has 15, Vietnam only has 4. So it's going to be quite a bit smaller. And then India has 10. So it's right here. And our table and our bar graph are showing the same information, just 2 different ways. So as we said, China had 13, Japan had 15, and Vietnam had 4, along with India having 10. So we're going to use our bar graph to help us answer some questions. So in our bar graph, we are going to solve some problems. How many more coins does Carla have from China than Vietnam? So when we took a look at those bars, China had 13 and Vietnam had 4. Remember, we're doing many more, which is minus, which equals 9. How many more coins came from China? 9 coins. How many fewer coins does Carla have from India than Japan? Well, we have Japan with 15 and we have India with 10. So our bigger number is going to come first because we're doing fewer, which is minus. 15 minus 10 equals 5. There are 5 fewer coins from India. And then let's take a look at number 3. How many total coins does Carla have from these 4 countries? We have 4 numbers that we need to add: 13, 15, 4, and 10. So when I take a look at these problems, I'm going to see if there's any that I can add together quickly. 10 and 14, or excuse me, 10 and 4 make 14. And then I'm going to add 13 and 14 to get 27. And so I did 13, I did 14, I have 27 and 15 left. Going to start with my ones. 7 plus 5 is 12. 2 stays. A 10 is bundled. 2 plus 1 equals 3. Plus 1 is 4. There are 42 coins. In number 4, they are asking us, what is on the x-axis? Remember, the x-axis goes horizontally. So countries are on the x-axis. And then what is on the y-axis of the graph? It is the number of coins. I hope this information was useful to you as you are solving the problems in your packet on problem solving with bar graphs and data distribution. Bye, guys.